all reactive. This is the part of the circuit where Esteban Ocon had his prang into the wall yesterday. We've seen plenty of lockups. There's another one for Lewis Hamilton. Is he using the reconnaissance laps? Get this question all the time. Are they pushing on the reconnaissance lap? There's your answer. Hamilton has ditched the simulator. He's not interested in that. He's interested in the real thing. And he was back to his very best in 2/3 of the lap yesterday. It is well set up for our first ever Canadian sprint race. Well, it's pretty racy out there, everyone trying to get a real feel for the conditions underneath them. Let's go back to Lewis Hamilton, making his way around the circuit that he has dominated at in the past. 8 and 9 in your picture at the moment. Has that lockup, makes the corner as Red Bull head out onto the circuit. So 8 points available for the winner. Max Verstappen is a 3-time Grand Prix winner around this venue, bound to do a practice start. It was interesting that George Russell was asking who was behind him on the second row. He was informed it was not only Norris but Oscar Piastri as well. We have seen, going back a long time now, but we have seen cars with a great launch able to get the jump on the front row in the past. That was back in the era where we had Fernando Alonso leaping to the front with that excellent fast-starting Renault. Alonso now with Aston Martin. He found the barriers yesterday. This is his teammate Lance Stroll, who is finding himself out on the circuit, and rapturous applause for Stroll on home soil, and he's got a great record in races here, poor record when it comes to one-lap pace, and as a result I imagine he's delighted to get 2 of them. So dusty. The drivers always like a part of the racetrack that's representative. Sometimes they have to make the practice starts on concrete, sometimes they have to use a dusty part of the racetrack. They're very dusty on the pit exit there, so maybe not entirely representative for what they need. Out on the soft tyres, the 4-time world champion. So much support for him around this circuit. We are not too far away for our 3rd sprint race of the season.
Look at Gilles Villeneuve looking absolutely resplendent on this Saturday morning. And we are ready for our F1 sprint. The grid filling up nicely now. We've made our way down to Red Bull, who are 4th row, 4th best team, as they're proving to be so far this season as well. Max Verstappen, not a happy man with how the car is feeling, and such a precise nature of the 4-time world champ. He rarely is, always dialing in for that next dose of perfection that he can find and bring from the team. The downshifts were an issue for him, but then the bumps, his feet literally flying off the pedals, Julian. Just explain what that would have felt like.
Well, difficult to be precise, difficult to have control of you know, vital inputs, really. So, I think he's obviously done a solid job considering, so it's not quite as bad as he probably describes, but it's an issue that Max and Red Bull have had for years, the compliance of the car. Considering how good they've been around other circuits, this has not been one of their best, and it's kind of an old problem that's resurfaced after the progress they had. Nearly got run over by Lewis Hamilton at the start there. I've been praising him as well this weekend. Yeah, it's probably it's something they need to work on before qualifying, and that's the thing when you have just 1 hour of practice. Sometimes you lock yourself into a setup that's not what he wants at all at the moment.
And I guess, look, they get to change that into qualifying the Grand Prix, so this really a kind of look at what they've set up already. Max Verstappen hasn't particularly enjoyed the starts as much either this season. He has had better ones of recent time. How can the 2 Red Bulls progress through the field here? Can they hope to get advantage of slower starts ahead?
Well, the hard thing is a slower start ahead when you have the Ferraris is really difficult. You know, the 2 best starting cars are starting ahead of them. I think a lot of the bouncing that you guys are talking about, it comes from how they run the car. For them, keeping the front platform and keeping the ride height consistent is really important. And this place is so bumpy that it just makes it really hard. Because the lower you can run the car, the more downforce it makes, the more grip it has. So it's always a compromise. You can make it a little more comfortable, but you make it slower. So it's kind of the nature of the beast.
And to the sister team as well, and just to let you guys know as well, Albon, Gasly, Behrman and Bottas will all be starting in the pit lane. That means the final car on the grid in the P18 slot will be Liam Lawson as Lewis. A wave to the crowd, so relaxed is he, so confident, so happy. Wonderful to see the crowd reacting in equal measure. Lindblad, Lawson's teammate, put himself P9, and I've been so impressed so far this season with what he's been doing. It's a great advert in his rookie season, isn't it?
Oh, it's really good. You know, as a rookie to come in and execute, you know, and Lawson has a lot of experience. Lawson has been really competitive, and to be able to beat him has been really good. Lawson had a tough weekend. You know what I mean? He had issues yesterday, so we don't know where Lawson would have stacked up and where the Racing Bull would have stacked up, but it's still really, really good job.
Williams, while we're talking about a difficult Friday for Lawson, very difficult for Alex Albon as well. He'll be starting, as I say, in the pit lane. Carlos Sainz first SQ3 though. Is that a confidence boost for Williams? How much of one?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's the first time they've graced the top 10 in terms of one-lap pace so far this year. The team also executed really well. Carlos is actually very happy for once with his track positioning in SQ2. He crossed the line just to get that final lap in, took advantage of the track evolution, and then nailed the final lap as well. It's the sort of circuit where the driver can make a good difference. It is about a hustle next to the walls. It's about being precise and being on the limit of grip, but also being perfectly on the curbs with the right inputs and everything, and he's got it.
Yeah, it's because, again, this place is such a low grip that getting to the edge of the grip here is really easy, but getting over and making mistakes is really hard, so the timing of everything is crucial. Again, like the reason George is so good here and always been good here is his timing. Again, Lewis, for example, did a really good job. He was hustling the car, but his timing and precision was, you know, was the old Lewis, what we're talking about, ahead of Charles. We haven't seen that out often. And the question there is, as he worked with Lewis, the setup, do they went with Charles, try this as well, and Charles hated it? And this might be interesting, because if that's the case, is Ferrari going to start splitting the cars how to run both cars?
Well, look, for Carlos Sainz, he's been busy between Miami and Canada. We've put him to work with Lawrence Barretto. He's had a closer look at the new Madrid circuit.
Hi, I'm Carlos Sainz.
And I'm Lawrence Barretto.
And we're about to make history. We're going to do the first laps to the Madrid circuit.
Right. Let's go for
Ready?
it. Yeah, let's go for it. See if you can scare me a little bit. Oh, this at full speed in the Formula 1
This is going to be
around here.
tough.
Whoa. Okay. What I love about you, Carlos, is you've not done this yet.
No, I have.
And you're already going for it.
This is going to be cool, eh? That area was cool.
Just dancing around. What I love is when it opens up like this.
Yeah.
Like you can see the whole track. If you're lucky enough to be sat around here.
This is so cool. I'm enjoying this.
Wow. Oh, this section.
Let's go. First time run Monumental, going quite flat out. See how much grip there is thanks to the banking? You can push a lot.
Yeah. It just sticks.
Just accelerate. And here you just see the sky, yeah?
That's insane. Oh my God, I can't believe how much it was glued through there. That was insane.
That was really cool. This one's tighter than I thought.
Way. That's it. I knew you'd get the tail out at one point. I can feel how much fun you're having. This is great.
I'm actually really enjoying this. People laugh at me because apparently when I'm focused, I open my mouth while driving. Oh, this is fast.
Yeah, you do.
Whoa. This one has a bit of a banking also.
You just can open up all the corners then, can't you?
Yeah,
So
you have time to go back and open the corner.
that's it. Nice.
Wow, nice one.
They don't call you the smooth operator for nothing, do they?
Or do you think? Do I know how to drive or not? I really enjoyed that.
Mate, that was sick. Thanks.
No worries.
I bet you can't wait to get back here.
Yeah, now it's time to race here for real. See you in September.
Oh, we really enjoyed that as well, Carlos Sainz. Thank you so much for showing us around. Look at these fans, guys. They're absolutely loving it. I always so enjoy coming to Canada. And look, McLaren fans, Ferrari fans, such a wonderful atmosphere, all in amongst it together. And if you do want to see more of the Madrid circuit, more F1 TV content, you can scan the QR code right now and fill your boots. But don't do it yet. Watch the sprint race first. Right, Aston Martin, the other Spaniard on the grid, Fernando Alonso, in a position in which they look competitive. Fernando Alonso, a lockup, finds the wall. I mean, gutted for him. Does it show how much he's having to push the limit of that Aston Martin? that he ended up where he did?
Well, he's pushing the limit, and when you're pushing the limit, the mistakes will come. And he's not trying to be on the normal limit. He's trying to get more out of the car than anybody else. He's trying to go further than anybody else. And that's why people love Fernando. He's not comfortable with a lap time. He always wants more. He always, if he goes breaks and he goes, ooh, I can go a little more, he's gonna try it. He doesn't care getting it wrong. And 90% of the time, he gets it right.
On to Cadillac as well, looking at the teams further down the grid. Perez, so close to making SQ2. Is there a source of confidence there, a boost perhaps that it was their best performance yet? There is progress to be made on a track which technically shouldn't suit them due to the bumps.
Well, I think we're seeing progress gradually from Cadillac. We saw the same with Checo in sprint qualifying in Miami. They couldn't quite back it up as the weekend went on, but it's good that they can hit the ground running quite well on a Friday, and it's 2 times in a row now that Checo has shown that. Valtteri was a little frustrated that he didn't get the final run with the red flag as well. But yeah, we are seeing Aston Martin making a bit of progress, Cadillac making progress, and they're both getting closer actually to an Alpine or a Haas. These guys have been in the top 10 at times, but if they don't get it right, they're now almost within touching distance of the back markers.
Quick word on Audi.
Fine. 11th and 12th, how quick do you want me to be? 11th and 12th, outside shot of points, but basically Audi being Audi so far this year. Need to get a good start.
I mean, it may be a shot of points tomorrow, but top 8 scoring points in our F1 sprint, which is coming up very soon.
Yeah, Audi trying to improve upon a Miami that was plagued with reliability issues. Gabriel Bortoletto saying he could have extracted a little bit more from his package today. His last lap was decent, but not enough to make it through into SQ3. They're all talking about the track. They're all talking about how dusty and dirty the track is out there. But he is in the middle of the pack. He's starting in 12th. His teammate Nico Hülkenberg is in 11th. Hülkenberg a lot happier, but obviously disappointed to miss out by 0.5 of a second. But that's what we get in sprint qualifying, where the margins are very, very close. You're looking at Lando Norris starts 3rd on the grid. He's getting a lot of support around this circuit, as is Lance Stroll. He might be starting on the back row, the effective back row, because we've got 4 cars in the pit lane that include Behrman, Gasly, Bottas and Alex Albon, who's looking for a change in fortune. You're looking at Alex Albon right now. The engine cover flew off last year's qualifying. He obviously had a collision with the wild by 20 points in the World Championship. They are separated outside my commentary box window by 8 meters at the start, with the threat of Norris and Piastri behind. There does seem to be furious work going on at the front of the Aston Martin there, of the home heroes car, Lance Stroll. Hopefully it's just last moment alterations to the bright green Aston Martin.
Welcome back down to the grid. Welcome back to the build-up here for F1 Sprint, our 3rd of the season, our 2nd consecutive sprint weekend as well. We're not giving these drivers or teams a minute of let-up here, and you've got 2x2 for the front 4 teams on the grid. Mercedes leading the way. Further down there, we're looking at the likes of Haas. Now, Ocon, super unlucky in the 1 hour of practice to find the wall as well and doing significant damage. He said he might feel that as well today, so he might be a little bit sore. For Behrman, yes, he did get some running in, but it didn't look that great. They are sticking with the upgrades, Julian. How much are they able to actually learn from the limited time we've had since the tweaks to these regs?
Well, not a lot. I mean, the practice was a bit interrupted. Even if the session was extended, you still had lots of stoppages, so those cars coming back in. It's not representative running sometimes. Ocon's crash, they've been struggling a lot with ride quality with it. They've not hit the ground running, and Esteban was just over the curbs and was caught out actually how bad the ride was. Generally scratching the head. So Ollie Behrman's from the pit lane. They can make changes to that car at least, bring them out of parc fermé, keep the upgrades on, but just say let's learn something about them before qualifying later. Yeah,
but I think Ocon to a point he was really lucky. Like he was completely head-on, damaged the nose of the car, brake ducts, small change, like small things. It could have been so much worse. It could have been half of the car completely ripped off. So they were unlucky, but to a way lucky. I think they were probably expecting a lot more speed of all the upgrades. They brought a lot of upgrades, and either understand why they're not working. That's a big thing. Understand, are they working, and is it just the right quality that the way they're running the car, it just doesn't suit this track?
well, understanding, I guess, they will get over the next 23 laps and 100 kilometres here. We talked about him earlier and how impressive his rookie season is proving to be so far. Let's hear from him now. Arvid Lindblad.
Arvid, great quali yesterday. The car looks electric, and on a sprint weekend as well, only one practice session. You must be really pleased with where you're starting inside the top 10 today.
Yeah, definitely was better than what I expected. You know, it's a very difficult track to come to, especially, you know, on a sprint weekend. So, yeah, very happy with how qualifying went yesterday. And now, yeah, all eyes on the sprint race and see if we can grab a point.
I know there's a few unknowns out there, but the pace of the car and what you've got the field, do you reckon you can go and nab one more place and get that point?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, for sure, the pace of the car is better than we expected. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of unknowns. No one really did a long run yesterday in P1, so we'll see what happens. But I think we've got it.
Have fun out there. Thank you.
He's just so assured, so mature when you hear from him for such a youngster making his debut on the biggest stage in all of motorsport. All right, let's hear then from Alex Brundle. We've been talking about the starts. Let's get some analysis, shall we?
And you're correct to have been talking about it, Laura, because the start is going to be huge. 168 metres from pole position down towards turn 1. The line out of the last corner into that first corner goes like this, meaning that second place grid box is really, really dirty. It was Fernando Alonso on it in 2023, Lewis Hamilton to his left, and you can see the kind of launch that Hamilton gets. He gets clear of Alonso and is able to take the line in to the first corner. That could easily be the interplay between Lando Norris and Kimi Antonelli today. But it needs to go right if you're going to be on that clean side of the grid. Check out Oscar Piastri in 2025. He's going to be challenged down the outside by Kimi Antonelli. And look at this road positioning as they make their way into the middle of turn 2. You've got Kimi Antonelli behind Oscar Piastri, but it's such a tight line through that Antonelli is going to hook up through the mid-corner of turn 2 and is going to be able to challenge Piastri down towards the apex of 3. So if you don't quite get the launch off that cleaner side of the grid, then you need to be ready to defend down towards turn 2. We've got 2 Mercedes across the front row, guys, and I think there's somebody with you who knows exactly how to defend a slightly difficult start in Montreal. Let's go back to 2022, shall we? Who's this chap in the Williams BMW holding up Michael Schumacher? 2002, not 2022. But it's a gorgeous sight and a gorgeous sound, taking the lead down towards turn 1. JP Montoya will tell you how to hold it.
Thanks, Alex. Great stuff. Go on, then. How do you defend? How do you hold it? Because it's a short run, isn't it?
It's a short run. You got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. And if you're the guy first making the move, the other guy see you come, and if you're determined and you're okay crashing, it's okay. You need to go for pros. You really need to do that. You know what I mean? You need to. If you make a move and you're not 100% certain, people will know you're comfortable, not comfortable closing the door, and people need to know that you're coming across. And I think you need to do that. I think he needs to do that. I think Kimi really needs to do that, because I think that being in the dirty side is going to be tough. I think he's going to have to line, in my opinion, I will line up a little bit towards George. In case you get a really good start, you can get George in an uncomfortable position into turn 1, a little tighter. If you don't get a great start, then you're fast enough already moved to come and block Lando.
Risk versus reward, isn't it? Because you want the best start, you want to take it to your teammate, but you do not want to touch a little bit further down the grid.
So the question with the touch is, how close can you get then?
Oh, that's a racing driver's perspective, isn't it? Lawrence Barretto is a really busy man. He's found Max Verstappen.
Hey Max, I'll just grab one quick question. I know you weren't too happy with the car yesterday, but what do you think is possible today in the sprint?
Well, you can't touch the car, so we'll have to deal with that and then hopefully make some changes for qualifying.
Do you think you can take the fight, at least to the Ferraris?
It will be tough.
All right, good luck.
Oh, Max Verstappen siding through the field. It's a sight you love to see in Formula One. We'll see what he's capable of as he's dicing with those ahead of him and keeping those behind at bay. I said Lawrence was a busy, busy man. He is. He's found Oscar Piastri as well.
Hey Oscar, just a quick one. Great starting position, the McLaren's fast off the start. What's going to be the key to kind of getting ahead of the Mercedes?
Hoping our starts are like they normally are and hoping the Mercedes starts like they normally are.
That's that today, thanks.
There we go, short and sharp from Oscar Piastri. Busy man indeed getting ready for this one, starting P4, not entirely happy with what he was feeling in the car. But they know there's an opportunity with the Mercedes who've had those slower starts ahead. They obviously were also buoyed by an improved performance in Miami. Where do McLaren sit for you in this one?
I think the McLarens won't be that far in the race. I think they're going to be quite close. I think the start is crucial. But remember, the sprint race today, especially, you can't make a mistake because you can hurt yourself today. If you crash the car, you do up something big, you might miss the main qualifying, and that would be really painful for tomorrow, especially if there's weather coming.
And we believe there is weather coming, and this is exactly it, isn't it? Like I said, risk versus reward. How far do you push knowing you've got Grand Prix qualifying?
We're drivers, we don't think that much.
You don't think? Us mere mortals do. But the jeopardy of this track is immense. It must be so much fun to drive. The challenge of that must be something you guys relish.
Yeah, it's amazing because there's a lot of places where if you get it wrong, you're gonna hit the wall. And it's funny because I was doing the track walk the other day and it's like, ooh, I crash here, ooh, I crash here, ooh, I crash here. So yeah, I've done a lot of ooh.
Right, do it get involved at home, F1 Predict. You can start to get your predictions in. I meant to get Jodie and the Roots before they headed off, but I didn't manage to squeeze it in. So much we had to talk about. So I'm going to ask you now, Juan Pablo, your prediction for this race. Firstly, for what happens at the start. Secondly, who wins it and the podium.
I think it'll be George, maybe Lando and Kimi, just because the line, getting up the line.
In that order?
Yeah.
So Kimi's taken at the start then, loses positions?
Yeah, not because he does anything wrong. I think the dirty side, it doesn't look that, like the difference between the guys 1, 3, 5, 7 and the even side, it's visually dirtier on the dirty side.
What a Ferrari then, Lewis Hamilton in P5?
He'll be either fourth. Yeah, I don't think he'll get to Kimi. It's too far back, unless they have an issue. But I don't think they will. But I think he'll get probably one of the McLarens.
Oh, we'll see, won't we? Thank you so much, Juan Pablo. Thanks to Jolie and thanks to Ruth as well. You'll hear them through the course of the race. This is it then. The start of F1 Sprint is one you do not want to miss. Have Mercedes made the gains they need to get the launch in order to get ahead of the fast-starting Ferraris and the McLaren sandwiched between them? What of Max Verstappen starting P7 as well? This sprint race here in Canada, the first ever, is due to be a thriller. Let's get into it. This is F1 Sprint at the Canadian Grand Prix.
It is one of Formula One's favourite stops on the calendar. This is Formula One in Montreal. I'm holding my breath on this one. And the Canadian Grand Prix is go! Oh, he's giving it everything. Flat to the floor, cars everywhere. Into the wall and out of the race. Oh, the McLarens collide. Ship it from me. Extraordinary.
Guys, that was a hell of a race.
Just keep on the track so dangerous.
Yeah, feeling the race from us.
Yes, what a race, guys.
George Russell wins the Canadian Grand Prix. This has the potential to be very special. race of the season, and our location is an enduring venue on the calendar. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal is our host this weekend, and it is nearly time for the first ever sprint race to be held in Canada. Here is the circuit, first used in 1978. 23 laps ahead of us, 4.3 kilometers, 2.7 miles, and a short shoot of a run down to the first corner. Can the Mercedes stay ahead? There are no mandatory pit stops. It's about half an hour of lights to flag action with 8 points available for the winner. Hello everyone, we are sprinting in Montreal for the first. Time. We're about to race this format in Canada, and it is a brilliant racetrack to attack for the field, the ever depleted field. Let's run through you all from the back to the front. There's 5 cars in the pit lane now. It's Alex Albon and Valtteri Bottas. We knew about these two. They will be starting. From the pit lane, then it's Pierre Gasly and Oliver Behrman, but between the time that the pre-show ended and this broadcast, the long Stroll has been pushed off the grid, so it's Liam Lawson who will not have the Aston Martin to the left-hand side of him. .17 on the grid, 5 in the pit lane as it stands. Next up, Sergio Perez in 16th, next to Fernando Alonso in P15. Found barriers yesterday, as did Esteban Ocon in practice. He's P14. Franco Colapinto, 30. Position for the Alpine driver. Then it is Gabriel Bortoleto next to teammate Nico Hulkenberg. Out on SQ3 by half a tenth. Carlos Sainz made it. Great little battle that he won between 4 drivers. Lindblad's been fast since the first green light at the end of the pit lane this weekend. And then it's 2x2. Hadjar next to teammate Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc behind 7-time Grand Prix winner around here, Lewis Hamilton. The theme continues on the second row, and the McLarens get past the Mercedes ahead. It's Oscar Piastri fourth, and then Lando Norris in third. And our top two in the World Championship, reversed in order. Kimi Antonelli in second, George Russell in first place. 3 qualifying sessions in a row, 2 Grand Prix qualifying sessions, and 1 sprint. He has taken first place by the end of the session. There was intensive work going on the grid, Stroll's car. They've not been able to fix it in time. They've pushed him to the pit lane. Jolyon Palmer, we have 17 on the grid, 4 contenders for the win out front, and now 5 cars in the pit lane.
I love this shot. The calm before the storm as the tyre blankets come off for our front 2 rows. The Mercedes have been sitting ducks for those behind. It's been the Ferraris and it's been the McLarens so far. Every single time they've lost the lead at the start of the race. It's a short run to the first corner. There's a curve through it as well. So Russell will curve to the right, where Antonelli will momentarily have the inside before you get to the first braking zone on the left. And the McLaren drivers further back will be hoping Mercedes woes continue. But word from the team at the front, starts have been better yesterday in practice.
So they're happier with what they've seen. As we move on to the formation lap, the grandstand's full. There is a spy of a few of the cars in the pit lane. They do get the option of a formation lap, but their race will begin when the green light illuminates at the end, and all cars have gone past. That looked like a slow getaway for Arvid Lindblad. Having a great weekend so far, trying to score his second ever point-scoring result in Formula One. He needs to improve 1 place to do that today.
And Racing Bulls have gone for a hard tyre to try and do that. So most of the field are on the mediums. That seemed to be the obvious way to go, balancing grip and the durability of a tyre over 23 laps. Racing Bulls have gone for the hard for Lindblad. Now that worked really well for Liam Lawson in China. He managed to come through for some points in the sprint, hoping that the mediums will grain a little bit. It's an okay air temperature out there. It feels warm enough, 20 degrees, and it's going to be all about firing up the front tyres particularly. You can see the dust as well for Russell, who's, I'll tell you what, he's the only one out there, isn't he? No, here come the rest of the field. Big gap that Russell's got as the field spreads on this formation lap.
Let's get an update on the condition of Lance Stroll's sprint race with Alex Brundle.
Yeah, hello, gentlemen. I'm just literally watching Stroll's work going on now. There is no tyre on the right front of that car yet. Looks like they're working on the attachment of the front suspension to the front wheel hub. Stroll is in the car with tyre heaters on it, but they're running swiftly out of time to get that car out, and they still look like they're working on the mechanicals rather than fitment of the wheels on the front of the Aston.
Difficult moment for the home favourite. This is the first of 2 races. This is the half-an-hour format, no mandatory pit stops, lights to flag action. And then the main event, the Grand Prix tomorrow, 23 laps for us ahead. Here is George Russell, who has backed off considerably to allow the rest of the field to catch him. The top 8 in this race will start the race on the medium tyre. Lindblad on the hard. Sainz, Hülkenberg, Bortoleto, Colapinto behind him, also on the medium. You've got to go down to Perez, who is running the very grippy soft tyre. That's not going to last very long, but why not? It's going to get you a great launch off the line. Why not try something around a circuit that has seen it all in its time on the Formula One calendar?
Max Verstappen going through his burnouts, getting those rear tyre temperatures fired up so he can have an aggressive start and try and bring himself into the mix. Another man that's not had great getaways often this year, but seemed to be a little bit better off in Miami, and you can see the way he's positioned to the inside there of Lewis Hamilton, and the way that the road curves into that first corner as you get the hit of power from the electric motor. You're going to have a little bit of steering angle on. It's going to be even harder to get these things off the line.
Look at that steering angle for George Russell, who had planned that. Look at the telltale rubber marks from the formation lap. Russell ahead. He has the form in Montreal, but 2026 has been superb for Kimi Antonelli. Green flag at the back. We will look to the lights after the short pause built into the regulations this year. When they go out, we'll be sprinting in Montreal. The first ever sprint race in Canada is underway. Good launch off the line for George Russell, but Kimi Antonelli will be under pressure. The Mercedes hold position. They have managed to get off the line and hold their 1-2. Crucial improvements for them. What's the boot off the line for Lewis Hamilton? Can he gain a place? The answer is yes. He goes past Oscar Piastri. He's the big winner on the opening lap so far. Mercedes 1-2. Russell, Antonelli, Norris, and now Hamilton P4.
Couple of weeks off for Mercedes, and they finally learn how to get off the line then. Those good starts from practice come to fruition at the start of this race, and they hold position. Antonelli was deep into the first corner as well, making sure that Lando Norris couldn't do anything about him, and indeed he couldn't. Up into third place for, or staying in third place, up into fourth for Lewis Hamilton, and he has been a man on a mission so far this weekend. Let's see if now he can get his head down and chase Norris.
So Lewis Hamilton has ditched the simulator. He's running on instinct, and his instinct around here is superlative. 7 times a Grand Prix winner. Kimi Antonelli putting the charge on at the moment. There's a late braking move for Esteban Ocon to the inside of Sergio Perez.
Yeah, watch Antonelli, because he was close at the hairpin. You've got all sorts of deployment going down to the final chicane. Has Russell got more in store? Yes, he has at the moment, but again, Antonelli's got pace on the great attack on the way into that final chicane. He showed it yesterday in qualifying. Oh, I don't know if he was so quick coming out that time, though. Really hustling away.
Overtake mode is now enabled. You get more power. You get more deployment if you are within 1 second. There are 3 straight zone modes around this racetrack. There's a move in the background. Let's go back to the opening lap of the sprint race. Go on board with Nico Hülkenberg, who was in 11th. He's now in 15th. This looks to be the reason why.
Yeah, brave man trying to hang it around the outside at turn 8. All arms and elbows as he rejoins from the grass. But you're never going to make that stick. He lost a further place there, or even a few more. I think Ocon, Perez and Alonso all gobbled them up on the way down towards turn 10. Dirty on the circuit, though. Even around the racing line, you can see Russell flicking up a little bit of dust. And Antonelli stays in his wheel tracks. Here we go onto the brakes for the hairpin, turn 10. You have to get a good exit here, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. Longest straight, best overtaking opportunity coming up next.
It was Colapinto getting to the inside of Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg having to take to the grass and losing out as a result. Top 8 score points in this one, 8 for the winner, all the way down to 1 point for 8th position. Liam Lawson is the driver that we're highlighting on the left-hand side of your screen. Full frame, we're looking at the big hitters who started 2 by 2. It was Lewis Hamilton who was able to make the improvement. He is desperate to get through into the top 3. Stroll has been noted for a start procedure infringement. A late push to the pit lane for the Canadian home favourite after problems with the front suspension assembly.
Oh, pressure being applied here by the championship leader. How much can Russell absorb? Half a second away. It's such an easy circuit to make a mistake on. All of these braking zones. You can lock the front, you can lock the rear. Antonelli just slightly wide of the apex there with a bit of understeer. Again, he carries such speed on the way into these corners and then hopes he can get the rotation and come through them. And at the moment, it is meaning that he can keep the pressure applied. He's a little bit late on the turn in there for turn 8 as well. Russell escaping by a 10th in each of those corners and jump on the gas for our best chance. Straight mode activated, but it looks like again he's going to be too far back.
George Russell in more than a battle for sprint race victory this weekend, trying to change the narrative. It has been 3 Grand Prix victories in a row for Kimi Antonelli, the first driver in the history of the championship to win his first 3 Grand Prix back to back to back, and that's what he's managed to do.
In the wheel tracks of Russell here and apply the pressure. So replay at the start. Russell, you got it right, so angled across to make sure no one could attack him into turn 1. Missed the apex slightly, but there was no attack from further back because the Mercedes got great launches. Hamilton round the outside.
Line through turn 2. Starting off with turn number 1. Now watch where he positions the car.
Yeah, experience showing here. Thinks about Norris, but you're never beat.
Alex Albon started this race in the pit lane. Top 2 are very close together, and that was easy on the brakes. Past Bottas. Kimi Antonelli, our 19-year-old championship leader.
Yeah, I tell you, George is sweating right now. This is not a race under control for him. You wonder sometimes if he's managing tyres and the whatnot, but I don't think so. Having to just check the mirror all the way down to that final braking zone, waft towards the middle of the road, and wow, you could tell the way he was jumping on the throttle on the exit as well. Wasn't sure if he was a little bit deep in towards turn 7. All of these braking zones are an opportunity to make a mistake for the race leader. It's not closest he's been.
Problem for Isaac Hadjar. The 2x2 formation of the big teams has fallen away.
Engine problem.
About to see the two teammates do battle. Wide in the turn 10 hairpin. Russell now checking the mirror, having to go defensive.
Antonelli, he brushed the grass, he got away with it. Going to go fighting again towards one.
Russell up against Antonelli, very tight between the two of them. Antonelli at the front between the Mercedes pair.
It'll continue again. Antonelli across the grass, Russell saw him coming, and Russell right up against the end. Yeah, this is the most ambitious move, I think, for a race lead in Montreal. From this far back, round the outside, I mean, he sort of gets there at the apex.
Wide! And it costs Antonelli second place. Through goes Lando Norris. Will it be late on the brakes for Antonelli? No!
That was very naughty.
Antonelli got to the point where he's lunged with a lock brake at that corner. You should never be close enough there. So something's gone on. I can't believe she's brief early on from Lando. Mercedes getting ready. Surely that's in case there's a flat spot that they can't get over at with Antonelli's car. Unbelievable confidence, unbelievable fighting. But how did they get into that position?
There was a question about how much we would see the Mercedes. There was definitely a touch of the apex of turn number 2, and we'll get a replay of what happened in Duet.
Penalty, I was alongside the hero.
Oh, the McLarens collided in 2011, the McLarens collided last year, and now the two teammates, the top two in the World Championship, so close to contact at 2 corners.
The turn 1, turn 2 moment, rather than the way he went grass tracking next time around.
Let's just get this back under control, Kim.
World Championship. Colapinto's got past Sainz up to 9th place. He's having a very strong day, making positions through the field. Last point is currently Nelly. What an extraordinary lap that was between the two contenders. There was a prevailing thought in the paddock that maybe we'd get a few flash points. Nothing.
From the very top, saying, we don't think there was anything in it. Play on. Antonelli so frustrated. These are title rivals. There's an easier time early on and can stay within a second, and he is doing that. Antonelli, you think he must have really...
Russell recovering the energy. The lockup was almost inevitable for Antonelli. He had to go for it, bounced over the grass and lost second position, having momentarily been in the lead.
I think the problem was he touched the grass as he was hitting the brakes as well, so it was a similar thing as Hajar retires. Similar thing that I mentioned as they were going wheel to grass, and by then he was carrying so much speed. When you miss the first bit of deceleration, you're going to be flying through. Should we buckle up again?
Yeah. And he's got the opportunity. He's within 1 second of George Russell. That gives him the overtake mode. That gives him more power. That gives him better recharge. And it gives him a chance. Antonelli off through the grass, and it's not even across there at all. He's bumping up and down through the grass, and he rejoined, not ended around the outside. He was not happy with the teammate's defensive move that he got. And they were starting side by side weekend, and he will be prepared to send one.
Well, how much pain did Antonelli give his tyres? Possibly the floor as well, with all that bumping over the grass. Sensitive aero parts underneath still, and looks like he hasn't managed to find that second win to get back towards the top 2 at the moment. So Norris the man to pressurise the race leader. Russell still having to work for this. Hamilton brushing the grass next to the
down compared to yesterday. It's 32 degrees today. The air temperature is at 20 degrees, and it has been dusty. First ever they've sent him out to get data. Lindblad on for the point on that durable hard tyre as well. So a good weekend could be a second point scoring finish in Formula One. The 18-year-old British rookie driver who currently occupies 8th position. And Jolyon Palmer's taking a step back in the commentary box because Hamilton's using all of the racetrack and a bit more.
I've been doing that all weekend, watching Lewis through the final chicane. He's happy and hungry once again here. Yeah, trying to bounce your way through some curbs, avoid others to keep the contact of the rear tyres perfectly in tune with the asphalt, find some traction, find some grip. And out front, I mean, this is great encouragement for McLaren as well, that Norris, having just sat back, watched the Mercedes fight, is now able to stay with George Russell and be the man to pick up any pieces should George be the leader to make a mistake. He made a mistake the first time, didn't he, at the hairpin? That's what opened himself up for it.
Okay, Alex Brundle, what a race so far.
Incredible race so far, guys. I think what we're seeing at the front here is this is such an energy-starved circuit that overtake mode is extremely strong. As soon as drivers are getting in within 1 second of the driver ahead, we saw it between Antonelli and Russell. We're now seeing it between Norris and Russell. The overtake mode is giving them the opportunity to attack.
Turn 10, then you've got the final chicane. Here is Lando Norris within 0.4 of a second of the race lead. George Russell using a lot of the racetrack at the moment, under pressure. One thing to go wheel to wheel with your teammate, but that's the sort of thing that you do as long as you can claim the win. Would be unhappy faces down at Mercedes if Russell is unable to hang on to this one.
Well, he was lights to flag last year in a somewhat different race. I mean, the pressure that George has come under in 12 laps and counting so far is something else. Norris closing and closing, using a little bit more energy to shut that gap in towards turn 8. You've got another run now up towards turn 10. This is the closest that Lando's been. He has that little bit more available, as Alex was talking about, with overtake mode. He's getting closer to the apex.
1 year ago in the Grand Prix, is chasing victory in the sprint. Russell felt the need to check the mirror there. They come to the end of the straight zone. They come to the chicane, and it's still Russell out front. He is having to really work for those 8 points now. Russell is ahead of Norris by 0.3 of a second.
He's having to harvest a lot more in some of the sensitive areas of the circuit. In theory, you shouldn't be able to overtake it towards turn 8, but it didn't deter Antonelli from having a go, as George was desperate to scrabble some energy back so that he could defend on the long straight. No DRS, and might even be able to help George out front if he could start fighting with Lando Norris in second place.
George Russell, who made his debut in Australia in 2019, Kimi Antonelli in just his second season of Formula One. And the top three in this sprint race separated by 1.5 seconds. As again, Norris, who loves a move into this heat, and that we've seen so far. It's Russell, then Norris, then Antonelli, then Hamilton. Last year's Grand Prix winner, George Russell, is the driver he is using more of the racetrack. He is having to really push in a way that perhaps he would not want to in a sprint race, but he needs this win. That's what he's looking for. He won the sprint in China, he won the opening Grand Prix of the year in Melbourne, and then
so he can get to the exit as well, and it's allowing him to stay so close through these corners. This is even closer than last lap now, so one lap, a little bit of a breather, a relative breather for George Russell, and now he's going to be under fire again. Such a critical corner, turn 8, so easy to lock up and miss that first apex, and then you're going grass tracking all on your own. Norris close, you mentioned before. This is
more engaged recharge lap for Lando Norris, who is bringing the fight once again to George Russell at the front of the field. Perez has had a fun run on the soft tyres, giving him track position, but it is going to give him a lot of pressure from the likes of Lawson, Bortoleto and Gasly behind. From Norris and Antonelli getting through, and there's Alex Albon in the path.
That's not kind, that's not kind.
And Russell calm on the radio, but not calm with what he was seeing in front of him. And that gap now, there's under a second between the top three. Hill on lap 18 and 23.
It's going to be tough preparation, isn't it, for Jolyon Palmer? Who is he going to see down there when he eventually meets the top three in this Grand Prix? It's been a change of strategy for Norris. Out of 10, all that did is reverse them towards Kimi Antonelli, and now he's in a Mercedes sandwich, unfortunately, at the front of the field.
Antonelli will be desperate to undo the damage of that moment across the grass at turn 8 that began. Oh, look, he's almost nudging Norris through the corner. Get on with it. Get to the front of the field. Antonelli will be desperate to try and undo the damage of those two contentious moments.
George Russell ringing it out to the outside wall, all on straight mode as they make their way through. And you can see the 3.1 second then gap to Lewis Hamilton, who has the attentions of Oscar Piastri, picturing after a medium compound tyre, which has done a fair amount of work now over the chicanes and through the traction zones.
Antonelli hoping wins. He's a long way back in the championship. Admittedly, it's only 50-odd points and not the 104 that Max Verstappen found himself adrift after the on a magic weekend of motorsport. We are seeing a battle separated 1.3 seconds for the top three, and he's almost over the grass.
Grass times 4 for Kimi Antonelli in this sprint race. That one was intentional over the inside curb. And he's got a little bit more pace, hasn't he, than Norris ahead. Norris being lead, if you're going to be moving forward in this race, super powerful. And you can see how these three have now left Lewis Hamilton behind. Antonelli looking like defend his position. Are they going to be okay with taking some decent points home? Status quo. You've got to think that it's going to be a psychological battle as much as anything between George Russell and...
In the points, but it was a sizable trip across the chicane at the end of the lap. There is a noted message for Max Verstappen, and he's coming in to change tyres just to get a bit of a read. And we've got 0.8 of a second between Russell and Norris, 0.6 of a second between Antonelli. That's history as we go to the final chicane. No way through for the McLaren driver.
It'll be away down the outside there. More traffic to deal with for the leading trio. It's Lance of 2. And it is indeed Piastri, who looks like he's got a bit more front end and then a little bit more traction through the mid-corner of the second turn than Lewis Hamilton.
The wall of champions. So many dramatic moments through the years. George Russell has led 20 laps, but can he lead the crucial one, which is that 23 of this entertaining sprint race? Let's have a look at Lewis Hamilton. We're on board.
He needs to keep the speed up, otherwise he's going to be under pressure down towards turn 1, and as a result has to use the equivalent amount of track on the exit.
Given that name in 1999, after Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve all found their race ending at that point. No further investigation for Max Verstappen at the potential yellow flag infringement. And look at the left of your screen, now full frame for you. All over the back of the Ferrari. Can Piastri pick up another point in the World Championship?
Hamilton just went straight across the apex of turn 13, which is why he's under still more pressure down towards turn 1. Saw it on the left of screen as they made their way through there. So that machine.
Multiple boxes, and Alex Brundle with you in the commentary. I'm Alex Chase. We've got 2 laps to go of this one. One at the end of this one. Penultimate tour for George Russell. So much made of it. You can see how much Lando Norris is pushing. Slightly squirmy on the exit. Does that open the door for Kimi Antonelli, who will be desperate for a chance to improve up to second? Slight lockup. Not even that for Lando Norris, and there's no way by unless you're super brave on the brakes, but the world champion felt the need to waft to the middle of the racetrack.
Forces the defence, and that's going to force a slow front straight. Can Antonelli do anything, though? It's such a tricky move to make around the outside.
Talking of the outside, Piastri's got past Hamilton. Antonelli going wide, but he can't make the move for second place. The McLaren's under big pressure, and that will be the position retaken by Lando Norris. Norris in second, Antonelli in third, and with a move at the chicane, Oscar Piastri gets up to fourth.
Nicely done by Piastri. Antonelli really had to commit there.
Has checked out of town, having spent so much of this race with a car in his mirrors and hearing the roar of a V6 turbocharged engine. Russell now has the biggest breather of the entire sprint race. Our first flashpoint between the 2 main contenders for the title. A sentence that was true last year with McLaren, a sentence that is true this year for Mercedes. But they are rising to applaud. He knows there is Grand Prix qualifying to come and 25 points available for Grand Prix victory. But when it comes to the sprint, the good times continue to roll for George Russell. Got his elbows out. George Russell wins his second sprint of the season and the first ever held at the Canadian Grand Prix. Norris in second and Antonelli in third. It's very tight to the line, and going through on that last lap was Charles Leclerc, who nearly got Piastri. He was 1/10 of a second away. Hamilton went from 4th on the penultimate tour to 6th by the end. Hamilton was in 6th. Verstappen was in 7th. And it is Arvid Lindblad who's going to come home for his second ever Formula 1 point-scoring finish. He will be P8, and he roars past our commentary box to confirm that single point. Good charging driver Franco Colapinto, who's up 4 places, and he's been looking more in the mirrors than he has been out of the front of the car. But that is going to be a great result for Cadillac if you take into account sprint races and Grand Prix. That's the highest they've ever finished. It is their 5th round in Formula 1, and Sergio Perez takes a Cadillac to P11. They are improving with every single race that they run, and it was a race won by George Russell once.
Well, he soaked up some pressure there, did George Russell. I checked on his radio halfway through the sprint race, and I thought it was broken. There was nothing going on in his direction, confirming with the congratulations to the team that that was not the case. Silence and delivery out front for Russell, doing a lovely job.
Let's check the flag.
Yeah, we need to...
Kimi Antonelli going side by side for a win with his teammate for the first time. Still angry at what transpired earlier in the sprint, and wisely the CEO and team principal co-team owner, Toto Wolff, coming on the radio and saying, let's hash this out in the debrief, rather than to the benefit
for Kimi Antonelli. Toto Wolff just weighing in, no stranger, of course, to having to deal with battling drivers. And that's exactly what they were doing, a flashpoint in the battle between these two, over not a huge number of points, but it would have meant more in the eyes of the drivers than it...
Given a 10-second time penalty for forcing a driver off the track, so that strong run to 11th is deleted, and he's down to 14th in the final classification. To back it up in the Grand Prix as well, but it's Russell on the car, a winner once again in Formula One, 2 sprint victories in 2026 for him, and 8 points more in the World Championship tally, as we see the gap between the top 2 in the World Championship come down to 18 points after that result.
For the Grand Prix as well, in terms of action, the Mercedes didn't drive away from them, did they? Especially from McLaren at the front in a weekend where they've looked so quick in qualifying conditions. Everybody will have overtaking to specifically Lando Norris. So Oscar Piastri doing the job, making his way past Lewis Hamilton.
Highest technology sport in the world, and you get a little ticket that's got your weight on.
It's all very ham counter, that, isn't it?
I was thinking it looks like having a conversation. They were separated by less than a second for so much of the rest. You make the point, Alex, that it was very tight, reminiscent of what we saw in my... I can't hear what they're saying, but I hope you could at home. And this was very tight. Antonelli giving it everything.
It's you can get the overspeed, and you go down the outside, and the part of the racetrack that everybody's not been using for qualifying and the rest of the week. It's so difficult. Here's the move from then Piastri down the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Oh, it's tight through there.
Became side by side. That is how Charles Leclerc was able to improve.
Well, what an amazing first ever sprint race in Peru. I mean, we've got all of you to talk to here, but I want to pick out Kimi and George first, because that was an amazing fight between you. I know
there in terms of pace was not easy. Yeah, I tried to make my move, and yeah, I need to review on that, because I was quite well along, because I took a big bump and then locked up, and then I kind of compromised my race there, but it was a good battle.
Okay, well done. You gave us a great bit of entertainment. If I can flip it over to you then, George. I mean, a race looking in your mirrors, you had to absorb so much the whole way through, but
the gap around here was felt quite easy to follow. The slipstream was quite powerful with the overtake mode, and then yeah, it was a good battle with Kimi, and you know, glad we both are standing here after the race.
Yeah, you managed to do the ground staff a few favours mowing the grass around here, Kimi. Lando, second place. You managed to be the interloper with this Mercedes party, and you must be pretty pleased with that, because the pace looked really good.
Because when things happened, and they were quick. I mean, Kimi caught me back up pretty quickly, and then I was pretty worried from behind, but also I wanted to try and attack George ahead, so it was fun. Always a tough track to kind of push on and easy to make mistakes, but today was a good result for us.
Okay, well, congratulations. We have some awards for you. So third place, Kimi, congratulations. Second place, Lando, congratulations, there's your award. George, let's talk about the race win then, because you really needed this, I feel like. It's been a difficult time in Miami. You've been great around this circuit. And so to stand here as a race winner again, do you feel like you're back in your happy place?
Never really lots of people with a lot of things to say, but